A portion of today's video is sponsored by Moft. Alright, so I've used the M2 iPad Pro for a while now, and it's probably one of the most impressive tech items I've used in a long time. With that though, I can say the honeymoon period has sort of ended for me. In my original M2 iPad Pro video, I mentioned it's sort of like getting a pickup truck to only ever haul groceries, when all I really need is a family sedan. And today I have the iPad Mini 6, which is honestly one of the very best iPads or even tablets in general. And obviously the iPad Pro line exists, which on paper is way better than the iPad Mini, and spec-wise, obviously there's no contest, so I must be crazy for exchanging the iPad Pro to the Mini, right? Even the older Pro models can be found used or on sale with about the same price as the iPad Mini, but the charm of the iPad Mini is that it's quite literally, in my opinion, the perfect tablet for the regular everyday user. All the latest and greatest gadgets are beyond impressive, but fun fact, the iPad Mini 6 has a higher search volume on Google worldwide in the last 3 months than the M2 iPad Pro line, even a whole year after its initial release. So while the less impressive tech is sometimes less interesting, people still really want to know about it, and well, nobody really wants to know about me yet. I don't hate the M2 iPad Pro by any means, but today I'll go over my reasons for exchanging to the iPad Mini that came out over a year ago. And if you're a tech enthusiast like me who doesn't quite care for the best, I think this might resonate with you. I like to call myself a prosumer, a beginner creative who still mostly does everyday things. My full review for the iPad Mini 6 will probably be next week, so keep an eye out for that one. And if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. On this channel, I cover gaming, tech, and a few things in between, so if you enjoy the video, be sure to like or subscribe. And if you don't, next time you go to a restaurant, you'll be seated at a table with a wobbly leg. Okay, so the first reason I figured I'd exchange to the iPad Mini is simply because, like I mentioned, I'm not a Pro user. And I say that lightly since I bet most people who get the iPad Pro are also probably not Pro users. Even though Apple throws around the Pro word rather loosely, most of us can get away with a regular iPad and a regular iPhone. But in my sense, I'm a regular person doing regular ass things daily. I'm taking notes, listening to music, going on YouTube, reading books, and playing games. And the thing is, all of those things don't really need an M2 chip. Apple's marketed the iPad Pro as a computer replacement that can also shoot video as a rig and edit things on DaVinci Resolve. And frankly, I'm not the user Apple is marketing to, for tablets at least. As much power as the M2 iPad Pro has, I'm really not going to be using it, at least in the tablet form. For more intensive tasks, I'm much better off using my MacBook Pro or my Windows PC. It just feels odd paying so much for a tablet I'm not really going to use. And of course there's things I'll miss, like the ProMotion High refresh display or the Face ID. But honestly, after using my iPad Mini for even just a little bit, I sort of stopped noticing the refresh rate, and Touch ID is still super quick. I can't say in my use case the iPad Mini 6 is any less powerful for what I do. And before I get to my second reason, I do want to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor Moft, who kindly sent out their magnetic snap case in origami folio. I'll be talking about the size of the iPad Mini shortly, which complements the snap cases, which allow you to magnetically attach to different surfaces, including the origami folio. My favorite of the two is definitely the origami folio cover on my iPad Mini 6, which provides an easy versatility of a stand as well as the protection of a folio case. Connecting magnetically, it allows you to have one of multiple angles, which works great if you're on the go or to supplement your existing desk setup. The snap cases do offer a higher level of protection, also while allowing you to use different magnetic accessories. Both case solutions can be used in many different ways in your setup or on the go, which work well with all iPad models. For me, keeping the iPad Mini is super important to me, and this remains true even with a case on. Be sure to check out Moft and these cases down below in the video description. Now, my second reason, like I mentioned, for swapping off my M2 iPad Pro, and a huge part of what makes the Mini 6 unique, is of course the size. And simply put, I cannot get enough of the size. For me, I'm placing way more value here in portability versus power. I appreciate it fits easily into a back pocket, and this has been huge for me when jumping between different meetings in the office, and the size of the iPad Mini is really what gives it its charm. Not carrying around a larger device can be super underrated depending on who you are. One-handed use is actually possible, and having less arm or hand fatigue is definitely a plus when using it for an extended period of time. It's just nice to have the smaller form factor, and really it's making me miss the iPhone mini line. And trust me, I know all of these everyday things that you'd use a tablet for can mostly be done on our phones, but there's something freeing about leaving my phone out of reach and out of mind when I get home, and still being able to take a call if I need to on my iPad. I will say there's always a better use for a larger larger display, and for me that's watching content or taking notes, but I just can't help appreciate the smaller size compared to the 11-inch iPad Pro. There's so many larger iPad sizes available too, but only one mini, and again, that's sort of what makes it special. Now, I might be wrong, but I don't think there's any other tablet on the market at this size with this quality of performance. Now, my third and main reason for swapping to the iPad mini is simply because it's less everything. It's less size, less weight, less money, and technically less capability, which is fine. All the more recent iPads, regardless of model, are super powerful, and like I mentioned, Apple's marketing is absolutely brilliant for all of their products, and they market iPads as a computer alternative. But really, one thing the iPad mini 6 isn't trying to be is a replacement computer. It's just trying to be a tablet, and I love it for that reason. I literally use it daily for specific tasks. I write and draft every video on my iPad in their new Freeform app, and I love throwing on music on my iPad and taking it with me into each room I go, or simply trying to get 5 minutes of reading in on whatever book I'm on. I love throwing on a video while working and not having it be a distraction with a larger screen, or allowing myself simply just to get a couple minutes of gaming. Of course, most of this could easily be my mindset and attitude towards the Mini 6 being more of a tool versus a toy, but whatever it is, it allows me to get a greater level of appreciation. And to me, this iPad isn't good at doing computer stuff, but it's amazing at doing tablet stuff, which is really all I needed to do. Overall, I might be making a huge mistake with this exchange, but so far, it feels a whole lot better to me. One thing for sure is, I don't feel obligated to use my iPad mini 6 like I did with the M2 iPad Pro, simply to justify the expense. In Canada, where I live, the M2 Pro after tax is $1,250, whereas the iPad mini 6 is $770. The only thing I'm thinking of getting is one of those paper-feeling screen protectors. If any of you watching has used one, I'd love to hear your experience, and please let me know down below in the comments what you might be using the iPad mini for. Anyways, that's been it. I really appreciate you watching till the end. Till next time.